This practice is all about evolving. So get ready to shapeshift and transform on your mat space today. We'll need a couple of blocks. You can have them set at the top of your mat. Then we'll be working with the tune-up balls quite a bit in the second half of practice. Have a blanket and also a bolster for our integration phase at the end. And we'll begin on our backs for a specific breathwork practice that may be helpful to peek up at me from time to time, but I'll do my best to give you really good verbal cueing. And we're going to bring our hands to rest on our belly. And first find a few of those thoracic abdominal breaths, taking a deep breath into the belly and then into the rib cage. And as you exhale, relax through both of those spaces. Deep breath in through belly and rib cage. Exhale, relax through both. Once more, just like that. Nice and simple. Inhale into the belly. Fill up through the rib cage. Then exhale, empty out. We'll be evolving this breath work into a diaphragmatic vacuum, basically working with our diaphragm underneath of the lungs to find a kind of vacuum or suctioning feeling or sensation in the body. And when you are doing this properly, it's going to feel a little odd, a little strange. So if you want to just take a peek up here while I demo and then get into it, you will be able to see that vacuum action, and you should be able to feel that within your own body as you take this. So we're just finding first that deep belly to ribcage breath in, and then you exhale the air all the way out, relaxing, just like we did before. And then at the bottom of that exhale, keep the air out, keep that breath hold, but try to take a breath in. So you're feeling like you're taking a breath in without actually bringing any air into the lungs. And that will cause this kind of shallowing of the abdominal muscles down towards the low back and then in and up towards the ribcage. So the diaphragm is creating this expansion and this shelf of the ribcage really opens up. And then you'll just let it go. So definitely not natural by any means. This is very specific, nuanced breathwork practice. So give it a go a few times. Take a deep breath into the belly and then to the rib cage. Exhale, empty out. And then hold the breath at the bottom of the exhale and feel the body like it's trying to take a sip of air in, but you're not actually bringing any air into the body. And you'll feel almost like a weird closing off at the top of the throat. And then relax. And then take another deep breath into the belly, to the rib cage. Exhale, let it out. Bottom of that exhale, feel that diaphragm vacuum drawing up from the low belly all the way up to the top of the throat. And relax once more. Deep breath into the belly, to the rib cage. Exhale out, relaxing those spaces. And then feel that suctioning, that vacuuming action happening from the abdomen up through to the throat. And then relax, just take a breath in and out. Let go of that breathwork practice. Let the eyes slip shut if they aren't already. Take some time here to bring to awareness any intentions you would like to set for your practice today. Why you're on the mat. The reason behind this time. And to work a little more specifically within the container of our theme of evolution or evolving, think about something you would like to see evolve within your own life. Maybe you dedicate this practice, this movement, this breath, this energy towards the evolution of that thing. We'll slowly roll on over to one side and bring ourselves up to a cross-legged seat. Let your shoulders drop heavy down the back as you feel that lift through the rib cage, lots of space along the sides of the waist. Take a big breath in, reach the arms up overhead. Then as you exhale, take your left hand to the floor, right arm up and over to a side bend. Drop the right hip heavy and down into the mat as you send breath into the rib cage, especially that right side of the rib cage. Deep, deep inhale here. And slow, deep exhale out. Grow a little longer. One more breath in. And exhale, take that right hand to the left knee. Come on up to a twist. Left hand reaches back behind you, kickstanding through that left arm as you rotate around the spine line over to your left. Keeping the hips anchored and relaxed against the mat as you feel a sense of length through the low back. And notice if you're leaning a little bit more towards the left, the right, or forward, back. See if you can bring your skull to stack over your rib cage and your rib cage to stack over your pelvis. A few more rounds of breath here, inviting a sense of length and space with your inhales. And as you exhale, continue to grow and spiral upward into the twist. And one more full breath in. And full breath out, spiraling up. With your next inhale, take that left arm to reach up and around towards the right knee. So now you're crossing your arms in front. You're going to rock towards your tailbone. So you might roll up onto the pinky edge sides of the feet. You can even point your feet. And then allow your body here, your back body, to hang into the space behind you as your hands wrapping around your knees give you a little bit of that resistance. So you can find that opening into the upper back. Drop the chin in towards the chest. Full inhale here. And slow, deep exhale out. See if you can round more through the back body. Hollow in through the low belly. Deep breath in. And then exhale slowly. Release the legs towards the floor. Unravel the arms and come back to your seat. We'll take that series on the other side. Arms reach up. Inhale. Keep the front ribs relaxed down towards the belly, the hips. Exhale, right hand to the mat, left arm up and over. Anchor, pin down through this left hip as you extend and reach the left side of the rib cage further up and away from the pelvis. Notice if your shoulders are drawing up towards the ears, if your neck is disappearing, can you soften the shoulders, let them hang heavy down the back, finding lots of length and space for the neckline. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, bring your left hand to right knee. Right arm gently reaches behind you as you stack skull over rib cage over pelvis, and rotate around to your right. Breathe in and breathe up from tailbone to top of skull. And as you exhale, keep spiraling up as you breathe that air out. Deep inhale, inviting space and length into the body. And exhale, allow this twist to evolve from that spaciousness. One more inhale. And deep exhale out. With your in-breath, that right arm reaches up and around towards the opposite knee, grabbing a hold of the kneecaps, rocking back towards the tailbone, rounding through the spine. Trying to create almost this ball-like shape, this circular shape from the crown of the head, spilling forward towards the kneecaps, circling back up and around through the spine line. Deep inhale. Breathe, exhale, feel those shoulder blades widen across the back. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, slowly release the legs back towards the floor, unravel the arms, and we'll make our way out to a tabletop where we'll set up for downward dog. Having the palms at least shoulders width distance, tuck the toes under, press down through the heels of the hands, and send those hips skyward. Let the head hang heavy. Take a little pedal out through the feet. Get situated. Spread the toes wide. Feel that spread also through the fingers, the palms. And with your next inhale, you'll lengthen out to plank pose. As you exhale, slowly lower knees, chest and chin down to the mat. Tops of toes anchor, upper arm bones hug in, elbows pull back. As you take an inhale, very light lift, baby cobra, baby back bend. And then exhale, push back in through, toes retuck, downward dog. Full breath in here. And deep exhale, send the pelvis up and back. Take a deep breath in, lengthen out to plank. Exhale this time, lower all the way down to the mat in one solid piece. Tops of feet anchor down, deep breath in, find a little more lift in your back bend, not sacrificing the support in the core. And as you exhale, push back through, downward dog. Take your right leg up to rise, inhale. Exhale, knee to the belly, step the foot forward and through, low lunge. From here, you may use a block under the left hand if needed. Just know if this is feeling a little too pretzely for you, bring that support underneath the hand. You're going to spin your right toes to the right as you roll onto the pinky edge side of your left foot. And then you'll likely need to heel toe that right foot further down towards the back of the mat. You're going to lower your hips towards the floor as much as your hip flexibility is allowing for you. We're going to flow here. So take a deep breath in, push down through the pinky edge side of your back foot, through the sole of the right foot, and rise up, bow up into this long side reach. And then as you exhale, lower the hips back down. Inhale, push down to rise, really anchoring through your right heel. Exhale to lower. Deep breath in, press down to lift the hips up. Exhale, lower with control. Once more. Deep breath in, anchor down into the spaces where the body meets the earth. And exhale, lower down. From here, walk your arms forward and reset back, downward dog. Left leg rises, inhale. Exhale, knee to belly, step foot forward and through, low lunge. Left toes spin towards the left side of your space. Right arm is your anchor, and you'll rotate around onto the pinky edge side of that right foot. And then you'll likely want to scoot that leg a little further back. Unless you want a really deep hip stretch, then keep it tucked in closer to the front of the mat. Pressing down through left sole of foot, pinky edge side of right foot. Inhale, breathe up, anchor down through the right palm. Exhale, lower the hips down. Breathe in and lift up. Press down through the arms, strong through the right shoulder. Exhale to lower. Deep breath in. Find that big bowing up through the left side body. Exhale, lower. Once more. Inhale, rise and lift. Push down, strong through the body here. Exhale to lower. Bring your hands forward and step on back. Reset yourself. Downward dog. Full breath in here. And deep breath out. Take your inhale. Make your way out long to plank pose. Stay for the exhale and lift your right toes off the mat. Lower on down. Breathe in, lift the left toes up. Breathe out, lower down. Take a full breath in, bring the shoulders a touch further forward of the wrists. As you exhale, lower either halfway or all the way down. Deep breath in, up dog or cobra. And as you exhale, Push the hips up and back, downward dog. Begin to take a crisscross walk of the feet forward towards the hands, making your way to a forward fold. From this forward fold place, you'll find a little shift and sway of the hips side to side. And let that carry you up to stand, rolling through the spine, making your way to a more vertical position, but let that evolve in its own time, its own pace, your own way, coming to stand. Now once you've found yourself standing, let's have the blocks set at highest height. Actually, let's bring them onto the mat, and we'll just move everything a little further back. So you're going to bring left foot forward, right foot back, finding your high lunge. Sweeping the arms up to frame the face, high onto the back ball of the foot so that right heel is lifted, left knee is tracking over the left ankle, tailbone is dropping straight down to the floor, so you're inviting that stretch through the front of the right hip. Full breath in. Then as you exhale, bring your hands forward, press off of the back leg into a supported warrior three. You may choose to bring the blocks a little bit over towards your left side of the mat so that you're really tracking shoulders over wrists. Right or left hip over ankle. Flex or point through the back foot. Just make a deliberate choice there as you feel that energy reaching from the back foot away and out through the crown of the head, but you're being pulled in opposite directions. Full breath in. And deep breath out. We're going to find an internal and external rotation through our hips. So you're going to stack your right hip on top of your left, finding external rotation in both hips. Then you're going to spiral that inner right thigh towards the inner left thigh, internal rotation in both hips. Just playing with that a few times, opening up, stacking right hip on top of left, then spiraling those inner thighs towards one another. And breathing through it as you find your capacity for range of motion in internal and external rotation. And you'll feel a nice, good workout in that outer left hip, likely. All right, after your next internal rotation, you'll come back to neutral. Take a nice big breath in, flex through the back foot if it's not flexed, and as you exhale, draw your right toes to tap the right block. Inhale, left heel lifts up, leg is parallel to the earth. Exhale, right toes tap the right block. Inhale, lift and lengthen, keep the back of the neck long. Exhale, tap the block. A few more. Inhale to lift and rise, length through the back of the knee. Exhale, pull the toes in towards the block. Once more, inhale to lift. Exhale to tap. Lower the foot down, shift the block slightly off towards the right, and then step the left foot back, rise on up, high lunge. Got all that on the other side. Front knee tracking, stacking over front ankle, lifting up through the back heel. So you're pressing, digging down through the ball of left foot. Breathe in and out, feel space in between ribcage and pelvis. Relax through the jaw and the shoulders. And then drive the hands forward to the blocks, lift the back leg up, find supported warrior three. Flexing or pointing through that left foot, whichever position of the foot and ankle that allows you to feel more length in the leg line. And especially allows you to connect to that lengthening through the back of the knee. Feel the shoulder blades plugging down the back, so your arms are active, they're helping you here. as you press down through the right sole of the foot. Feel that anchoring down into the leg, driving up through the right hip. And we'll take that external rotation, left hip stacks on top of right. And then curl or peel those inner thighs, spiral them in towards one another. Internal rotation. External rotation, open and stack. Internally rotating, inner thighs, hug, kiss one another. A few more. Breathing through this motion and going as slowly as you need to find a controlled movement through internal and external rotation. Notice if your jaw is clenching. See if you can relax the space in the mouth. And invite that deep stability work that is happening right now in that outer right hip. All right, after your next time internally rotating, you'll come back to neutral pelvis. Keep that left foot flexed, energized through the heel bone. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, left toes, dip to tap the left block. Inhale, reach that left heel up and back. Exhale, tap the toes to the block or towards the block. Maybe it doesn't reach. You're just trying to aim toes as close as you can to the block. Inhale to lift, exhales to tap. Take a few more. See if you can keep the spine long and lengthened. Notice if you're breaking or bowing in the low back or rounding. Can you keep those natural curves of the spine intact as you really just find a motion from that left hip? All right, last one. Tapping, and then lower the feet down. Bring those blocks back. Actually, you can bring them totally off the mat. Release them to a forward fold. Deep, deep inhale. And big exhale. Roll up through the spine for our grand finale, this evolution of high lunge to warrior three. Bring your hands to your hips. Send your right foot back, finding our high lunge. Reach those arms on up. Take a deep breath in here. And now as you exhale, you're going to launch forward into your warrior three. And then travel on back to land high lunge. So you're just cycling between those two poses, reaching forward and slowly landing back. Inhale to reach. Maybe if you want to, definitely blocks can come underneath the hands. If you're using the blocks though, so you can keep the fingertips really light onto the blocks. So we're now recruiting more into the strength and stability through the lower body. The arms are there to help guide us and find that reach and stretch through the body, but less so about holding us up. There will be some times where you might fall out of it. Attempt to keep the pelvis pretty neutral as it shifts from high lunge to warrior three. Notice if you're working, opening into external, internal rotation as best you can. Keep things square. And I'm sure we're all feeling that nice fatigue in the left leg. So next time you're in your high lunge, step right foot forward and switch. We'll get that right leg going. Deep breath in, high lunge. Exhale, push off the back leg, dive forward. And inhale, high lunge. Exhale, launch forward, warrior three. Breathe in, high lunge. Breathe out, reach. Arms can find whatever pathway makes sense, whatever feels good and supportive for your body. Whatever allows you to feel a little more loft and float. Keep the crown of the head always, always, always reaching away from that back left foot. One more cycle here. Landing back in high lunge, stepping forward, release the arms, shake it out. We're gonna make our way down to the floor, so kind of just dive forward, go into a little squat, and find our tune-up balls. And we're going to start with a release for the glutes, starting just one ball. So taking this ball, coming down to the back, and sliding it underneath the left side of the pelvis, just below that bony structure of the pelvis. So the back of the pelvis, the PSIS, you want to roll it just underneath there into that first bit of soft tissue. So we're trying to target the piriformis here. And you're just going to slowly rock side to side. This left knee may open up a little bit. You can experiment with some more external rotation versus a more parallel neutral position. And you're just rocking side to side, trying to strip across the muscle. Move, reposition the ball as needed. Feels like it's wandering away from the piriformis, from just below the bone of the pelvis of the hip. And take a few more slow, deep breaths here. Sometimes slower is better with this work. The more slowly you move, the more of an opportunity there is for the tune-up ball to grip onto the superficial fascial layer. So take, especially if you were kind of just gliding past really quickly, see if you can take the last pass or two at a glacial pace. Okay, now we're going to switch to the other side. So you're bringing a tune-up ball underneath the right PSIS, posterior superior iliac spine. For all those anatomy nerds out there, I don't know how many of you there are, but if not, you just learned a new term, PSIS. And you're going to take it to roll across the piriformis muscle, which runs from the sacrum all the way out to the greater trochanter. Relax through the jaw. Breathe deeply and see if you can slow things down a touch. I'm also saying that for myself because I'm noticing that I'm going quickly through this, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can definitely take really quick glides across the muscle, but it's just different, a little deeper when you move very slowly. More opportunity to really connect to what's going on in the body. All right, one more pass here. And then you'll roll the tune-up ball out and take a moment to pause, breathe. And you'll take your time, roll on off to one side. Bring yourself up to a seat, and we'll be working with both tune-up balls, but before we go any further, we're going to check in with our hip mobility. So we're going to find this stacking of the shins, keeping the feet flexed, and I have pretty open hips, so this comes a little bit easier to me than it might to you, so try not to crank your body into the shape that you're seeing me in. Just be really honest with where your hips are in this moment. And we'll do this again after a couple more series of release sequences, and you'll see the own evolution of your hips. So just be honest with where you're at, feel it out on this side. Just notice, where your knee is in relationship to your other ankle. Notice if you're sickling in this foot, see if you can keep the foot really flexed, protect the knee, and just check in. Then we'll take it on the other side. And likely, one side's gonna feel a little more open than the other. So pause, notice. Either from an internal place, closing your eyes and feeling, sensing from that internal awareness, or looking, visually seeing like, okay, my knee's really high up here. Where is it in relationship to that other foot? Okay, and we'll come on out of that. We'll be back there soon enough. Take both tune-up balls out, and we're going to place them along the back. So imagine that you're wearing a pair of pants that has a pocket, and you're going to place the tune-up balls horizontally along that pocket seam. So similar place to where we just had the tune-up balls before, but a little lower down, so you're not right up against the pelvic bone. And you want to be rolled over onto that side. So for cueing purposes, start on the left so that you're with me, and have those tune-up balls positioned along that pocket seam, imaginary pocket seam. Unless your yoga or athletic pants have a pocket, then you can line it on up. And we're going to have this left leg relaxed and long, foot is flexed, right knee is bent, right foot is planted. First, we're going to find a little roll up and down, so just gently tracing or mapping the glute medius muscle by rolling up and down. Removing any fabric. If you've got a longer shirt, just make sure with this release work, sometimes the less fabric in the way, the better, so it doesn't get caught. And from here, we're going to find a contract and relax. So left foot is flexed. You're pushing down through the pinky edge side of the foot against the floor. That will activate these outer glute muscles to engage. And then relax, soften, let go of that press down. And we'll repeat that a few times. Push down, contract through the glute muscles, breathe in, and then exhale, relax, let those muscles soften and spread around the ball. Inhale, push down, contract, relax through the jaw. Exhale, let the muscles soften and spread. Once more. Deep breath in, press down through pinky edge side of foot. And exhale, let it go. All right, last thing here, we're going to bicycle through that leg. So you can keep the leg on the floor, that will be less pressure. If you want a deeper dig, lift the leg, let it float a few inches away from the floor. Just like you're pedaling on a bicycle. Then reverse the direction of that cycling. Breathe through it. Relax through the muscles as much as possible. Okay, and then you'll slowly roll off towards the front of the pelvis. Take those tune-up balls out, and then you'll come to the other side. So finding horizontal positioning of the tune-up balls along that back pocket seam, the upper margin of the glutes. Left knee is bent, right leg is long. First finding a little rock up and down. Breathing into the sensations you're experiencing. Breathing with the sensations. And you may choose to slow the pace down a little bit. See how that is. Moving into that contract and relax. Right leg is long, pushing down through pinky edge side of the right foot, squeezing those glute muscles around the tune-up balls, and then letting them relax, soften, and spread. Press down, slice down through the pinky edge side of the foot, and then exhale, relax. Twice more. Inhale, contract, press down, engage through the muscles of the leg. Exhale, everything slack, soft, melting. Once more, deep breath in. Anchor down through pinky edge side of foot. And exhale, let it go. And we'll take that bicycling of the right leg either on the floor or floating up a few inches. Breathing through it. And reverse the direction of the circle, of the bicycle. Lower the leg down, roll off towards the front of the pelvis. Take those tune-up balls out from underneath. And we've got one more thing here to work into before we recheck our hip mobility and then call it a practice. So now we're taking tune-up balls still out of the bag along a lot of pocket talk today. So now we're going to the front pockets, imagining on pants where the front pockets would be to find our TFL. So you'll come down onto your left side and then place those tune-up balls vertically along that front pocket area. So you're having your weight, you're not totally front to the floor, prone, and you're not totally side either in that quartered space. You're going to bring that right foot around as far as you can, as far as your hip allows you to, bending the knee, so you're using that right foot for some stability here. And this may be enough. So you can just take a few deep breaths here, relax down, relax your weight down against the tune-up balls. If it feels better to come onto both forearms, you can definitely do that, or even slip blocks under the forearms if that feels better to prop up. And then you can begin to work across the fibers by gliding the hips side to side. Getting into a little cross fiber action, which always feels special no matter what muscle group or fascial section we're working. Then you can flex and point the foot, pinky edge side of that left foot against the floor, and that will bring a little rock and roll up and down. And since the balls aren't toted, they might wander away from one another, so hands are great for repositioning the tune-up balls. But all these movements are pretty small, pretty subtle. Okay, and then last thing we're doing here, because you might be cursing me, this one's up there with psoas, release. You're gonna bend and straighten through the left leg. So you'll bend the knee, draw the heel in towards the seat, and lower down. And this one can feel good even to come into almost more of a half frog shape. So you can relax a little more through this right side and really focus on everything happening in that front left hip flexor area. Take a few more, breathing down into that space. Okay, roll off of that. One more thing on this side before we take that to the right. You'll now bring those tune-up balls down onto the IT band, so kind of in the mid section of the leg on the outer seam of the leg. You can lower down onto that upper arm Bend the knee 45-ish to 90-ish degree angle, anywhere in there is fine. And you'll take that other leg and place it on top. That's going to create quite a bit of pressure down. So if that's too much, lift that other leg off and just let this bottom leg be weighted. If you can tolerate it, stack the legs here and breathe deeply. And if you would like to experiment with some movement, you can actually do a flex and point of the feet, and that will glide across the fibers of the IT band. So you're just sliding the lower leg side to side, or thinking more forward, back, as you work into that. Okay, let's come on out of that and feel all that blood flow rushing back into the soft tissues. We'll take it on the other side. So tune-up balls stacked vertically along front right hip pocket. Left knee is bending, left foot is planting. Then you're on your right forearm, your left palm. And you're going to first settle and breathe into it. Just let your body acclimate. Then you can go across, gliding the hips side to side. Breathing into it. And you can relax the head and neck. And that right foot can flex and point. So you're rolling up and down or stripping along the TFL. And then make sure those tune-up balls are well positioned for this last thing here. You can lower towards the inner knee, inner thigh, and then bend and straighten that right knee. The more upright you are, the more pressure and the more stretch that muscle will have. So you can brace yourself higher up if you want more sensation, or come lower down for less sensation. Okay, roll out of that. We'll hit this right IT band. So bringing the tune-up balls vertically along that outer right seam of the leg, about midway down through the thigh. Relax onto your upper arm, hands can support the head. Soften, allow this outer right knee to relax down towards the floor. And then, depending, might be different on the side, like my right IT band right now is feeling much more talkative than the left. So you can keep this left leg off if this feels like a good amount of pressure. You can stack it, breathe into it. And slowly flex and point through the feet to find that gliding across the fibers. And as best as you can, try not to make the pain face that I'm personally really resisting from making, and just smiling at you all. While I can't see you, I hope that you two are smiling through this rather than gritting your teeth and scrunching your face up. So avoid that pain face. Take one more deep breath in. And deep breath out. Okay, come on out of that. You can set the tune-up balls off to the side and come to check back in with our hip mobility. So you'll stack shin over shin and see. And for me personally, I already have pretty open hips and I can already tell they're even more open. Things just feel a little more spacious within my pelvis, my glutes. So I hope the same is true for you. I didn't just put you through all that intense sensation for nothing. Switch to the other side. Check in. Notice what a few minutes on each side of the body in that really intentional, specific way, what it can do. All right, coming out of that, let's find our bolster and bring it underneath our knees for our integration here so that the pelvis can be nice and relaxed. If you'd like to take a blanket and drape it over the front of the hips and the belly, or create a little pillow for the head, get cozy with that. And let the arms relax off to the sides of the body on the floor with the palms facing up. Thighs easy in the hip socket, just letting your legs find their natural rotation here. Take a few slow, deep rounds of breath as you allow the muscles to relax around the bones. Notice if there's any lingering tension or gripping in any of the muscles of the body. And see if they can soften a little more. Let go some of that tension or holding. Can you use your imagination muscle, work your imagination muscle to perceive the muscles as a softer, more relaxed makeup? Maybe they're a little less like firm muscle, a little more like soft fluid. Can you imagine your body shape-shifting here on the mat from a more solid, dense structure to a soft, spreading, pooling lake or river? Whatever imagery comes to mind that allows you to spread, to soften. As we approach summer, thinking of ice cream melting on a hot summer day. Take one more nice, slow, deep breath in. And big breath down and out. Begin to return to your human state, your more solid state, by wiggling the fingers and the toes. Softly bending the knees, planting the feet on the bolster, and taking your time to roll off to one side, using your hands to press down against the floor as you guide yourself back on up to a seat. And once you land upright, allow the skull to float over the rib cage floating over the pelvis, relaxed and spread through that space between the sit bones, the tailbone, the pubic bone. And take a big breath in as you gather the arms up and around overhead, making two gentle fists at the top. With your exhale, draw those fists to the low belly, bowing your head forward, towards your body, towards the growth you've experienced both on the mat this month and also off of the mat. Acknowledging, integrating, and sealing in the benefits of this holistic movement practice. It was an honor and my pleasure to guide you and hold this space for you this month through a time of deep growth here in the middle of spring. Next month we'll be going off the mat in a way, so to speak, taking some more adventurous travels on our mat space. I can't wait to see you then, and until our paths cross again here on the mat, stay luminous.